January 17th, 2011. Dear Mom and Dad, I just rode a camel. Yes, that's right, a real camel. I always see my friends' pictures of them in Israel on a camel, but I never thought I would actually get to do it too. Becca and I just got off our 20-minute camel ride through the desert right outside of the Bedouin tents. I'll explain more about those later. It was definitely a new experience to say the least, and my body might be sore for weeks to come. After my first long day here in Tel Aviv, we had a 2-hour bus ride to our new location. As we started getting closer, we winded around a narrow dirt road as we basically went further into the middle of nowhere. As I looked out of the window of the bus, I thought about the fact that tonight would be my first night sleeping in a tent. Outside. You know I'm not really the outdoors type, but I was kind of excited to jump right into it. As I said before, we hopped directly off a bus and right onto a camel. The decision was made that I would be on the back seat and Becca would be in front of me. It was a funny 20 minutes, especially because it was very obvious that the guys in our group were not very comfortable sitting on the saddle. Their facial expressions truly said it all. The scariest part of the whole ride was the going down process. Basically, the camel stops in its tracks and lies down, all in about 1 second. Camels are definitely taller than I thought they were. I'm just thankful that I got off safely. Our group was guided into a large tent that had cushions for us to sit on in a circle formation. A man explained to us what the Bedouin tents are and demonstrated some of the cultural traditions that were practiced here in the past. He played an instrument that looked like a guitar, and we sampled coffee that they used to make by hand. It was really cool to see that the Israeli culture was made up of so many different kinds of people and history. The rest of our night consisted of dinner and then a fun activity we called tent hopping. The concept was simple. We all walked around the site and hung out with other birthright groups. We were around campfires and sang songs until 4 a.m. What a life, right? Directly after dinner, before we socialized for the rest of the evening, Gil, our tour guide, invited us to go for a walk with him to explore in the desert. I was definitely apprehensive at first, but the idea interested me, so I decided to go. He told us not to bring anything with us, just to make sure that we dressed warmly. About 20 of us started walking together, traveling farther away from our campsite. It was pitch black in the distance, and we all made sure to stay close together. We ended up in an open area where you could only see the stars in the sky, which seemed more beautiful than ever. The air was still, and the atmosphere felt so calm. Gil gave us only one direction. I want you to walk away a few feet by yourself and pick a spot that you can sit down in where no one else is close to you. We all seemed surprised, but we started to separate anyway. I picked a spot at the top of a small hill and sat down. Okay, now I want you to take some time to be silent. Do not make noise. Do not talk to the person next to you. Just be comfortable and take this time for yourself. I sat by myself in the spot and honestly felt awkward. I looked around and everyone was just sitting in his or her spot as well. I wondered if everyone was feeling as weird as I did. What was I supposed to be thinking about? Should I be praying? Should I be taking a much-needed nap? This time felt like it was lasting forever. After looking around for what seemed like hours, I decided to just sit back and clear my head. Once I stopped thinking about things so intensely, I realized how great it felt to just sit in silence, and I slowly looked up at the sky. As a junior in college, I am always busy about school or work or my future or even my past. I'm always on a cell phone and my laptop, keeping a constant connection with everyone in my world. For just these few minutes, I was able to ignore all of the chaos in my life and just be myself. Israel was so beautiful, and sitting in the middle of it all made me wonder about the truly important things in my life. After a short time, Gil quietly announced that we could all come back together whenever we were ready. As we all came back as a group, it was obvious that this moment was special to every person that came on this walk. I don't think I will ever forget this simple but meaningful experience that I just had. We all walked back to the tents and the party began. My friends and I were playing cards and introducing ourselves to all of the other groups that were at the site. We met some guys from Binghamton, New York, and they were really friendly. Tonight was definitely my favorite night so far. I'm kind of proud of myself because I figured only having one working toilet and shower would cause a problem for me, but I did surprisingly well. Tomorrow we're